Two major consumer disputes have emerged since the start of 2016. One centered on a company which operated the PC Center and Wells English Cram School, and the other involved the half-century-old CSJ Yoga Center. In both cases, the businesses went bankrupt without warning, swallowing up their students' payments. Many customers paid tens of thousands of NT dollars worth of classes, which were never held. Today, we'll look into some of these pay-in-advance services and the problems they've caused for consumers. Our Sunday in-depth report.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning, and Mr. Kang, who works as a chef at a major hotel, has already left home. He's about to begin his shift for the day. Meanwhile, this computer engineer, Mr. Liu, is already at his office. The two don't seem to have much in common, but they're caught in the same dispute.
At
the time, I was serving in the armed forces as a volunteer soldier, so my yearly salary was just a bit over 30,000 NT. I thought that by taking a course in computers, I could qualify for another job, which would pay at least the same. I thought of it as a springboard into another career.
In my company, you need basic English skills because, for instance, we have an English menu and we need to be able to converse with our foreign colleagues. I thought it would be a good idea to go to a cram school to brush up on my English, but I never expected that the cram school would totally collapse.
At the beginning of the year, the business group that ran PC Center, Wells English, and TutorWell, an online learning company, suddenly went bankrupt, shutting down all of the more than 20 branches of its subsidiaries around Taiwan. More than 10,000 people enrolled in courses offered by the three institutions filed requests for compensation to no avail.
At the beginning, they were trying to sell me on the idea that if I paid about 100,000 NT dollars, I could take as many classes as I wanted for my whole life.
There were no classes to take after the companies went bankrupt, however. Even worse, students had to continue to pay tuition installments as part of the contracts they signed with the schools. Those who didn't pay their fees were bombarded by constant text messages and calls from banks and collection agencies asking them to fork over their money.
The bank collection notices didn't stop coming. At one point, I fell ill and became psychotic. I would hear sounds that weren't there. It came to a point where I couldn't deal with anything anymore.
Leo wanted to obtain his programming certificate, but for a while all he got was one doctor's visit after another. He wasn't the only one to suffer from stress because of a cram school's collapse. This meeting on a class action lawsuit attracted hundreds from all over Taiwan. Experts were on hand to provide counsel for those seeking to use the law to win compensation. Many of those in attendance had paid more than 100,000 NT in tuition, expecting to be able to attend classes for however long they wanted. But when they looked more closely at the contracts they signed, they realized they'd been cheated.
The law says you can only ask for advance payment of up to 6 months at most. These businesses wrote in their contracts with customers that they would collect a 6-month advance, but farther down they wrote that they would gift their customers a certain number of classes on top of them. Some gave 2 years' worth, some 3, and some gifted classes for an indefinite period. This was one of their ways of skirting the law.
If you write that you're giving something away, that means it's a gift. But such a condition does not absolutely have to be fulfilled. I think these companies were careful in coming up with the words and phrasing in their contracts so that they could potentially exploit loopholes in the law. This is a really detestable thing to do.
他们都是即将结婚的新人。这位大年初六就要宴客的张先生，本来是要拿礼服的，却发现婚纱公司已经大门深锁，人去楼空。
In fact, these cases aren't limited to cram schools. Many similar disputes have emerged in the last several years, and any of a range of unconventional prepaid products and services on the market today could easily set off the next such uproar.
There are too many consumer cases involving these kinds of prepaid products and services. They're paying cash advance car wash services marketed to drivers like us, under which we pay a large sum up front and then could wash our cars as much as we want within a certain number of years. The same thing for laundry services, gym membership, beauty parlors, wedding photos. There are so many examples.
The many consumer disputes involving prepaid services may be down to the lack of clear regulations governing such arrangements. According to a Consumers Foundation investigation, only a few types of prepaid products are legally mandated to carry performance guarantees.
We found
that advance payments toward gift vouchers, fitness center memberships, so-called advance funeral arrangements, and pre-sale homes are covered by performance guarantees, but payments on other such products are not.
If you pay for something up front, no matter which business you're dealing with, I think you should make sure that the other party gives you the product you've paid for, either immediately or over a period of time as the case may be. You should pay attention to that.
Despite undergoing a major overhaul last year, the Consumer Protection Act still can't guarantee consumers' interests and rights when it comes to prepaid goods and services. While waiting for the government to draw up proper safeguards, members of the public have no recourse but to stay alert and consider carefully whether they've snagged a good deal or been snagged themselves.